In this video, I'm going to explain why, even if you have a lot of traction for your startup, you shouldn't lean on that to attract capital. So, when I started my first company, Publoft, I was obsessed with growing month over month, making sure our revenue was up and to the right every month so I could paint a good story to investors. And I remember, we went from zero MRR to 24K in MRR in 7 months. And every month that passed, I'm like, we're growing. This is great. Investors are going to love this. And I kept pitching investors and emailing investors. And we were at 5K MRR and then 8K MRR and then 13K MRR. And I thought at some point investors would be interested because our revenue was so good. And it wasn't until 24K MRR that we got a 100K check from Jason Calacanis on accelerator terms, AKA really bad terms that people with ideas get. And in hindsight, I realized what we did wrong here. It's that we let numbers get in the way of a good story. And this is what I see founders do all the time. Founders that are hustlers, founders that get revenue, that need to get revenue because they don't have any means of income outside of that, love to flaunt their revenue numbers to investors. Look, we are at 5K MRR. We are at 10K MRR. But the problem with this is they get too focused on the traction. So when they're pitching investors, they over-index on what they've done. But what they forget is investors don't actually care about what you've done. They care about what you are going to do if they give you money. And this is a trap. And a lot of these founders that have these traction points always wonder, well, how come my company with traction is not able to raise capital, but these people with ideas can raise millions of dollars? Well, it's because when all you have is an idea, all you have to do is get an investor to dream with you. If you give me $2 million, this is what the future looks like. It will be this and it'll be that. There'll be unicorns and rainbows. It'll be amazing. But if you're pitching an investor, look, last month we had 3K MRR. This month we had 5K MRR. Next month we'll have 7K MRR. Isn't that great? Don't you want to invest? It's not as attractive to an investor. Now, am I saying you shouldn't aim to get revenue for your startup? Of course not. The whole point of building a company is to attract customers, to get revenue, to reinvest that revenue, to build the company. All I'm saying is that when you are pitching investors, I would really try to not over-index on the fact that you have great traction, because contrary to popular belief, this might actually hurt you more than it helps you. And the last note I'm going to say on this front is if you are a company that doesn't have great traction, let's say you only have 500 MRR or 300 MRR, you're going backwards. A beautiful thing about this is you don't have to tell them about your traction. All you have to do is tell them a story about what happens when you take their $1 million, invest it into X, Y, or Z channels, and turns into Z, and Z allows you to raise your next round of capital. That's all you need to pitch them, okay? So in summary, if you are a founder with great traction, congrats, that's awesome. Don't over-index on that when you're pitching investors. They actually don't care. They want to hear your story. They want to hear how big this could get if they give you money. And then if you don't have great traction, great, you aren't able to make this mistake. All you have is your storytelling ability, right? So I hope this video is helpful. Hopefully you haven't made this mistake that I made when you went all the way up to 25K MRR and you weren't even able to raise a real round from real investors. And hopefully you take this advice and you do something with it. If you want to learn more, feel free to check out the YouTube channel. We have tons of more videos on how founders should think about capital raising. And if you want to ask me a question myself, you can just email me at matt@seatscout.com. Thanks for listening.